Welcome, race fans, to another exciting night of Canadian eMotorsports Network, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue action. Tonight it is round 5 of 22 here at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas, the GSGSG Kansas 200. So welcome aboard another live production of the 2024 Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. On the call here tonight, of course, Ryan MacAulay from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, the voice currently on right now. Been here now again for the third season here in the NASCAR Series. And then on the other side of the country, he's back here after being physically absent, not spiritually absent last week. Jordy Carraher, who's been here since the very beginning on the other side of the country in Alberta, Canada. And as we get to the actual booth here itself, Jordy, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a interesting week in watching things back there on the inaugural road course on the iRacing side of things for NASCAR. Let's point that out. But yeah, watching it back, it looked like everything went fairly swimmingly for the most part. Lots of interesting racing. Yeah, it was, not ideal to be away for a week, but hey, I'm back now. Let's get back into it.
Yeah. Of course, you were there with us spiritually, quote-unquote, with that hot lap video that we had back at Circuit of the Americas. But let's, kind of go back to where we were last week back then, where the number 0 rookie of Jordan Kalenian got the job done, his first career victory in the NASCAR Series, at least his first official one, because he did win the Atlanta Clash back in the preseason. So technically 2 wins, but also technically just 1 win. But regardless, the win last week at the Circuit of the Americas in the... Wow, my memory completely faded on what the race name was called.
Dulux Paints of London 120.
There we go. Dulux of London 120 Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. Thank you very much, Jordy. But yes, Kalenian getting the job done there. I'll go back to the here in the booth quickly. Jordy, it looked like behind the scenes you were able to catch up a little bit on some of the action last week. Can you kind of give us your overall takeaways from what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the parity over the course of this year. That's 3 drivers who've won the 4 races that we've had so far this year. And I don't think it was entirely unexpected to eventually see Jordan Kalenian come out on top in one of these, given his iRacing credentials coming in. Obviously, he'd put up a strong fight in Phoenix the week before as well. But I think, overall, it seemed like, not a whole lot in terms of, a shift in the order in terms of going from, your traditional intermediate or super speedway layout to, again, our first road course. But yeah, I think what you'll find is a lot of our drivers will be relieved to be back on the intermediate layout here tonight. And yeah, I think, now that first one's out of the way, I think, it's a little bit easier to sort of not set expectations necessarily, but, just where am I going with this? You can kind of really establish who some of the more complete drivers in this series will be, and that just puts, an even bigger microscope on those guys moving forward.
And especially for a guy like Kalenian, too. I mean, qualifying-wise, absolutely insane. 6th, 2nd, and 3rd. But then he started off finishing 21st, 22nd, was able to get 8th at Phoenix, but he was well on his way to contending for the win alongside Corbin MacAulay. But, of course, there was that wreck on the second overtime restart, but he was able to come around for week 4 and get the job done at the Circuit of the Americas. So we'll take a look here at the race results of the Dulux of London 120 Grand Prix. I quite literally could have just went on this graphic to remember the race name. But anyways, where was I at here? Yeah, so Jordan Kalenian, again, getting the win. Quite frankly, the top 3, if you complete that, you flip them. That's how it was in qualifying. MacAulay started first, Magram started second, Kalenian third, and then they flipped it around entirely on the race end podium. MacAulay getting the Stage 1, Stage 2 wins as well. But of course, there were a couple of unfortunate incidents at the beginning of the third and final stage, which the 17 was the culprit of one or two of them, which is why he will be starting at the back, regardless of his qualifying position tonight. But again, though, the guy's won at Kansas before. He won back in 2021. He showed plenty of speed there in the doubleheader that we had last year as well. So there's no doubt he's going to come right to the front of the field and contend for the win tonight. But we'll get into that just a little bit later. Of course, Andy Hurdle, Jared Ireland scoring some top 5 finishes. Darcy Ford and Ty Higginbotham having strong performances after maybe not qualifying to their overall expectations. Mike Marini and Jose Mercado, veterans, continuing to show consistent finishes so far this season. Rookie Adam Wilson once again with another top 10 finish. Kyle Knoll, Charlie Sears, Mason Tomlinson following in there just outside the top 10. Charlie Sears had qualified 5th, again, to the reigning IndyCar / Dart Series champion. Definitely a lot of kind of high expectations going into that one for the NASCAR Series. Rookie, unfortunately, some stuff didn't go his way, but he was able to bring the car home in 12th, so not too shabby for him. And pretty much the rest of the way were just a bunch of other cars that pretty much qualified and finished in kind of towards a similar number there, only a couple spots up or a couple spots down. But now as we move on into the driver's standings, where Jordan Kalenian getting the victory at the Circuit of the Americas. He joins Corbin MacAulay and Ty Higginbotham as the 3rd driver now to lock themselves into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs with a win. And now that means there's only 9 spots remaining for other drivers to get in, with only 11 races remaining until we begin the Earl Ross Cup playoffs, of course. In terms of maneuvers and such, again, looking at the graphic here, this goes by drivers with a locked playoff spot. So actually, C.D. Magram in the overall points is 2nd. Ty Higginbotham is 3rd. Kalenian's actually 4th, but he still moved up 3 positions in the overall points, which was, again, absolutely excellent, knowing how at the start of the season he was well below the playoff line there. Adam Wilson, Darcy Ford dropping a couple spots in there, and there were a ton of maneuvers in behind the playoff line, or actually more. It'd be starting right at the cut line and then moving down there because, again, looking at this right now, we have a tie for the final spot. I mean, you can see the gap there even with Tomlinson, like 107, 105, 104, 103. Like you got Tomlinson, Trevor Binns, Charlie Sears, Kyle Knoll, and Jared Ireland all right there in that very, very small bubble. I mean, again, it's still early in the season. But man, oh man, Jordy, you were talking about this in earlier. The parity that's been showing so far this season, man, oh man, is it ever going to get wild as the regular season goes on, especially with the fact now that we only have 12 playoff spots versus the 16 that we've had in past years. And again, too, when you see all those names right at that cut line, and even some names that are maybe a little bit above or a little bit lower, some names I didn't mention in there, like Marini, Belmonte, or even like Hunter Young, Mark Ouellette, like it's still early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you covered the main focus there. 5 drivers separated by 4 points at this particular stage. Yeah, there's still a lot to be decided, especially given that the guy presently in 15th, notably a winner at Kansas last year, he's one of the guys who wound up in the championship 4 last year. So don't be surprised if his uptick in form continues here. Obviously, looking to build on that top 5 at COTA last week. But yeah, he's a guy that's, in this case, Jared Ireland, obviously. He's a guy that's, he hasn't had the start that he's wanted. He's been caught up in a couple of incidents here early on. But again, a strong finish last week, coming to a track that he knows very well, a track that he won on last year. So don't be surprised if he potentially makes a jump up. But yeah, there's still everything to play for, no matter how far you look down this field.
Indeed so, and now we'll take a quick look here at the rookie point standings, where now we have a new leader after Adam Wilson was leading the way for 4 straight weeks. Jordan Kalenian now takes the rookie point standings lead after the Circuit of the Americas, again the race winner, and now the points leader, Adam Wilson. It'll still be 5 weeks in a row for Wilson getting either the first or the second best finish of a rookie, so it's still been quite the consistent run for him so far, but it's only a 1 point difference between the 0 and the number 21. In behind them, about almost 60 points back. You got quite the battle for the bottom of the rookie point standings podium with Tomlinson, Binns, and Sears all in there. I mean, fourth place, there's a tie, and those two guys are both 2 points back at Tomlinson. And there's a couple little bit more battles as the rest of the way goes on right there. And yeah, I thought I was seeing something else there. But anyways, yeah, and then the rest of the way just kind of staying in the same spots. Like Ouellette, Heaney, O'Toole, and Escoffier still at the very bottom there. I mean, again, O'Toole's had a bit of a rough start to his NASCAR Series career so far. Escoffier, attendance hasn't been absolutely perfect with him, but there's been some things going on behind the scenes in his personal life. So, I mean, of course, that always has priority over everything that goes on here within the Canadian Motorsports Network, of course. But again, Jordy, just briefly talking about some of these rookies here so far. I mean, it's kind of hard to call some of them a rookie, especially even Kalenian, because the guy has, I believe, the highest I rating out of anyone in the field.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of hesitant to use the term, especially, just given the overall experience, as you mentioned before. Like, obviously, they're new to our particular part of this universe here, we'll call it. But yeah, I mean, they're racing like, composed veterans, and, they've made an immediate impact here. Obviously, you've got Kalenian on the board and in the playoffs already with that victory last week. Wouldn't be surprised to see Adam Wilson knock on that door here eventually, but then, yeah, 3 through that tie through 4, that is, a big chunk of that playoff battle for those last couple spots as it stands right now. So, yeah, don't be surprised to see some of these guys, especially, you go a little bit further down the order to your Ouellette and Heaney as well. Don't be surprised as they get a little bit more acclimated. Don't be surprised to see their elbows come out a little bit more. And, everyone's a racer here at heart, and everyone knows what it takes to be fast here. So don't be surprised again once they get comfortable. I'm thinking this gap could even close a little bit more as we go along.
Indeed so, and now pretty much moving on into round 5 of 22 here at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas, just outside of Kansas City. Again, the GSGSG Kansas 200. Judging by how many drivers are here tonight so far, it's looking like we're going to have, I believe, 21 drivers partaking in tonight's event. Jason Butler is back after being absent last week. It looks like Darcy Ford and Steve Escoffier will not be participating tonight, but there's one guy in particular. We had 22 cars going at it for the first 4 weeks. We're now going to be adding a 23rd here, and I think this one has certainly been a popular one, especially within the drivers and some former drivers and some fans across the Canadian Motorsports Network. I think everybody is going to be happy to see this. I mean, you've all already seen it on social media. We'll put it out there once again. Yippee.
Yeah, buddy.
Chase Beatty, the number 25 GTR Motorsports Ford, is back for his third season of racing here within the NASCAR Series. He first joined us back in 2021, and then he was back in 2022 as well. Unfortunately, though, he was not able to partake in the Earl Ross Cup playoffs because of health issues, when thus he did not participate with us for the series' first season on the iRacing platform. But now for its second season on the platform, he is back in the number 25, once again driving for GTR alongside guys like Jose Mercado, Justin Belmonte, Hunter Young, and again, the Loudon, Tennessee native, a former GTR 250 at Daytona champion as well, won the first race back in Season 3 in 2022, and he, again, was the quote-unquote title sponsor of the season finale back in Season 3 as well, the Chase Beatty 200 season finale, I believe it was called, at Homestead Miami Speedway. So, Jordy, he's finally back. I know certainly you are very happy alongside everybody else to see him back. What are your takeaways from his overall performances here in the series so far? And just take us into just the reasons why he's so popular with everybody within the network.
Hey, so for Chase, like his biggest thing, well, in season 2 especially, his biggest thing was if he could maintain a stable connection, he was always in the hunt for a victory. That was always sort of the kind of Achilles heel at that point. But once he did in season 3, which also was your debut, yeah, he was right there. Obviously, he won that season opener at Daytona, and I'm sure you remember the very lively and animated chat we had with him after that victory and just the passion for all this. And he's a guy that's, you know, he just loves being involved in these kinds of series. He loves being around all these guys, especially as GTR guys. And I think the fact that, you know, he's got that kind of a personality and he's always been pretty laid back anytime I've chatted with him. You know, I think that speaks to, again, the popularity or the positivity surrounding his return to the series, especially, you know, it was sort of taken out of his hands toward the end of season 3. Obviously, he'd qualified for the Earl Ross Cup playoffs by virtue of that win. But yeah, it's great to see him back on track. Great to see him kind of getting reintegrated within the Canadian E-Motorsports network. And I, for one, am very interested to see how he performs here in these, you know, first couple of races. There, who knows, maybe there's a little bit of rust. I'm not sure what the activity's been like outside of the network in that time, but yeah, at the same time, I'm going to be very curious to see how he does overall here, because when he's on, he's the guy who can challenge and he could potentially upset some of the balance here.
Absolutely. In qualifying, it looks like just completed the 5-minute qualifying session for everybody here, 1 or 2 laps per driver, of course. And the only spoiler I'll give before we get to the starting grid, up front, on paper, we have a couple surprises.
All right. I am looking forward to seeing that. And obviously, you can kind of see the green in the background. That's just further emphasis of the Corbin MacAulay EOL here as well. And yeah, I'm eager to see how this goes. And, you know, it's going to be a different kind of evening here, I think. Again, guys having a little bit more familiarity with one another across multiple different kinds of tracks now. I think you're going to see guys push a little bit harder here, and Kansas is the kind of track that allows that.
And this race is going to be, again, as you see the sun setting here, this race is going to end under the lights. So again, the track known, especially in the next gen era, for its wicked restarts, very close racing with each other, and especially too with how grippy this track is going to be under the lights. Again, too, speaking of that as well, whenever I was watching the qualifying going on here, 17 of 21 cars qualified. The slowest gap was only 0.6. You might want to unmute unless you're having an issue there. Anyways, though, with all that being said, I'm going to go into race control, send a quick message to these drivers. Might as well give the welcome back to none other than Chase Beatty, of course, and we can get the engines fired up for some 200-mile, 134-lap racing here tonight at Kansas Speedway. It is round 5 of 22 for the 2024 Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue on iRacing. Alrighty, time to introduce the starting grid for tonight's GSGSG Kansas 200. We start off here on the front row where we have... I was talking about surprises here to an extent. We got the number 32 Chevrolet for $4.99 Racing from Charlottesville, Virginia. It is Charlie Sears, the reigning IndyCar/Darts Series champion, who again qualified 5th, finished 12th at the Circuit of the Americas last week, trying to keep up some momentum there. Adam Wilson, the number 21 Toyota for Tornado Alley E-Racing from Laurel, Delaware, will start alongside him. And now moving on to round 2, where we have, or row 2, sorry, where a bit of another surprise in there as well, although maybe consistency maybe makes sense why he's there, but the number 7 Chevrolet of Andy Hurdle will start in the 3rd position for 519E Racing from Daytona, Ohio. Alongside him, the number 93 Chevrolet from Appleton, Wisconsin, it's Tom Janikowski.
All right, Bizarro World kind of continues as we round out the top 5 here. So we got the number 16 Chevy of Ryan O'Toole out of Portland, Oregon, rounding out that top 5. Alongside him on the outside of row 3 is the number 1 Toyota of CD Mangrum. And as we move on to row 4, you can kind of see him giving O'Toole a little bump there. The number 41 Ford of Jose Mercado out of Kissimmee, Florida. He'll start 7th, and he'll have last week's winner, the number 0 Toyota of Jordan Kalenian out of North Carolina for company. He'll start 8th.
Rounding at the top 10 is the number 4 Chevrolet of Mason Tomlinson from Eudora, Kansas. Alongside him, he's won 2 races so far this season and 3 poles as well. The number 17 Chevrolet of Corbin MacAulay from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, who, again, qualified 10th, but he will start at the tail end of the field, the EOL penalty as a result of stuff that happened last week at Circuit of the Americas. And then moving on now to row 6, where we have the number 77 Ford of Hunter Young for GTR from St. Catharines, Ontario. Alongside him is the rookie in the number 33 Koopa's Racing Toyota from Winter Haven, Florida. It is Trevor Binns.
All right, moving on to row 7, and starting 13th will be the number 12 Toyota of Mike Marini out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. And on his outside will be the guy who won the Kansas playoff race last year, the number 6 Ford of Justin Belmonte out of Holtsville, New York, as we move on to row 8. Where in 15th is the number 15 Toyota of Kyle Knoll out of Wendell, North Carolina. And then we head to London, Ontario for our driver starting 16th. That'll be the number 10 Chevy of Jason Butler.
And now to round this all out, where we have row 9, the number 80 Toyota for Koopa's Racing. It is Mark Ouellette from Georgina, Ontario. Alongside him, the 2021 NASCAR Series, or 2022 NASCAR Series champion, and the winner of the GTR 250 this season, the number 97 Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota of Ty Higginbotham. Row 10 has the number 9 Toyota of Jason Heaney for Koopa's Racing from Altoona, Wisconsin. Alongside him, the number 13 Chevrolet of Jared Ireland, who got his first career victory at Kansas last season in the first race of the doubleheader. And to round it all out, the number 25 Ford for GTR from Loudon, Tennessee. Welcome back. It says Jordan Beatty, but it's Chase Beatty.
Yeah, again, very interested to see what his progression is going to look like. Obviously, Corbin MacAulay will have an interesting progression through the field from the back as well. But let's focus on the guys at the front here. Reegs, off to you.
Into turns 1 and 2, Adam Wilson will clear the way for the race lead off the start here. Looks like a couple guys got in the wall coming off of turn number 2, but Wilson with the high lane run and advantage going through 1 and 2. Some double file action going on here as the Wilson clears the way, but Sears and Mangrum side by side for the second position. Andy Hurdle, Jordan Kalenian single file in behind them. And like back there in the wall, the 93 of Janikowski. It's going to be 3 wide. There's going to be contact. Belmonte pushes the 93 up the racetrack. They're all able to keep it going, but a lot of tight action going on here down the back straightaway here at Kansas.
Was I not just saying that more guys are going to get their elbows out? I think we've got immediate evidence of that. No, we've got a couple lines that are almost like they're threatening to get 3 wide, but a little bit of contact, everyone keeps moving forward. That's all we're looking for here in the early going.
It continues to be Adam Wilson, that number 21, Johnny Walker, Toyota leading the way as Charlie Sears down to the apron through turns 3 and 4. Might have been some contact potentially with somebody. Looks like he might be coming down to pit road, though, for an early unscheduled pit stop.
Something wrong with that left front, maybe?
Definitely going to have to take a look and see what potentially happened. No, he just went down. And just now on pit road.
Okay, I think we have a little bit of context here, maybe.
Oh, it's a restart violation.
All right, so, yeah, obviously, from pole, not 100% sure how that one would work on the iRacing side of things, because it feels like he would control it. Maybe a little bit more explanation from guys in the know on that would help, but yeah, now it's going to be an interesting climb here for Sears.
Indeed, so Sears is now going to be 1 lap down as a result of all that. Lots of close action back here towards the back of the field as the number 17 of Corbin MacAulay, who again started the race with that EOL, is looking to make his way up to the front. Again, this guy's always been in contention to win at Kansas Speedway. Got the win back in 2021 during the NASCAR Heat 5 era. On the iRacing side, there's the luck, obviously a little less fortunate for him during the doubleheader last year. But regardless of that, again, he's got 2 wins this season after 4 rounds so far. Not too much to worry about him in terms of playoff-wise until we get to the end of the regular season. But him, he still wants to go for those wins and those extra playoff points, and of course stage points as well, as the regular season goes on and then wraps up.
Yeah, I mean, everything's just kind of further insurance for him at this point, and obviously, the EOL not ideal for the 17, but if he needs, evidence of being able to come through the field, Jared Ireland, who you see in the top of the shot right now, he did exactly that in his Kansas victory last year. Something happened that took him to the back of the field at the beginning of stage 3, I believe, and then he still clawed his way back to the win. So not impossible to make your way through.
Indeed, now in lap 8 of 134 here. Again, as a reminder for the race analysis, 134 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 40 laps apiece. Final stage will be 54. Pit road speed at 45 laps. The fuel window, again, because we're running at a 50% fuel gallon in comparison to the real-life distance, it'll be about 27 to 30 laps. So we will have a green flag pit window towards the end of the first stage, and probably as well for that second stage as well. And of course, 2 track facts. Kansas City, USA is the location of Kansas Speedway, the 1.5-mile intermediate tri-oval with, of course, 4 turns. 134 laps, 205 miles the race length. And continuing to lead up front here is the number 21 of Adam Wilson with Andy Hurdle in behind Jordan Kalenian, about a half a second back up the 21. Meanwhile, back here, the 97, 17, 13, a bunch of these guys still trading spots back and forth at the bottom of the top 10. Tom Janikowski still trying to hold pretty firm here against a lot of these top contenders within the series. Again, too, this guy, I don't think he's been able to achieve a top 10 just yet, but still, regardless, he's still been pretty consistent and relatively clean this season. You are muted, I think.
Am I okay?
Yeah,
I'm back
you're
there
good.
now. Okay. Yeah. So Janikowski, again, it feels like he's getting a little more comfortable in what I've now been reminded is his 3rd season here with us. I believe a couple weeks ago I said it was his 2nd, but yeah, he's trying to hang in there, and he's a guy who's very much outside that top 12 right now. If he can put together a solid performance here, maybe grab a couple of stage points along the way, he could very well pull himself back into contention, but talking of guys who are doing that, Higginbotham, Ireland, and MacAulay, they started, I believe, 18th, 20th, and EOL respectively, and they're all threatening top 10 spots. So again, further proof that, you know, this Kansas configuration, it will allow for some movement through the field.
We're going to be seeing plenty more of that as this night goes on again, as the sun sets, the lights come on, track gets grippier. Everybody's going to be much closer and closer as this night goes on, as it looks like Jose Mercado just scraped the wall there coming into turn 3. Jared Ireland's going to take advantage and go to the inside. They're going to battle for the final spot inside the top 10.
And Ireland clears.
CD Magram, Trevor Binns going at it for the 4th position. A lot of double file racing going on in behind them as well. Top 3 are pretty much clear, along also with Charlie Sears, and they're trying to get himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, sneaky good start there for Binns as well. I believe he started 12th tonight, and yeah, has made his way up to 4th here early on. Again, it seems like it's been a night of surprises so far. I feel like we'll get to the point where we shouldn't be surprised if the order gets flipped from one week to the next, which, hey, that's exactly what we're looking for at the end of the day.
There's a big highline run right there from the 97. I thought that was going to make a 3 wide between him, the 4, and the 6. Janikowski, I believe, kind of tapped the wall there coming off of 4. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway point of this first stage. So far, so good. Okay, as I say that.
Yeah, I mean, they held on, though.
That's what matters. They're still keeping it straight, as there's some 3 wide action, as I was saying earlier. I was wondering if we were going to get it. Now we're getting a little bit of it, as there was contact into the outside wall from the number 6. He's still able to keep it going and still be ahead of all these guys.
Yeah, we'll see how long that's up here, though. Currently running 6th is the 6th of Justin Belmonte, as you mentioned. But, yeah, that pack, it's going to be relentless, I think.
Still so far so good for the 21, as again, a lot of these guys still going at it here towards the bottom of the top 10. About 10 laps or so away maybe from a fuel window, as it looks like the 17 gone to the wall again there. He's really been struggling to make his way up towards the front after that EOL. Still early on in the race, however.
Yeah, I mean, tucked in behind Mercado, who's 10th, so that puts MacAulay 11th at the moment. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a full-on struggle, just, you know, these guys are good. That's why they're all here, and, you know, it feels like we're getting to a point as MacAulay takes a dive down low on the back straight. It seems like, again,
there's a lot of these guys getting into the wall. A lot of these guys are trying. A lot of guys trying to take the Kyle Larson line.
Yeah, I mean, you can only play with fire for so long here, and you know, MacAulay taking the more traditional lines, that's gotten him up a couple more places, up to 8th here now. But yeah, just to go back to the point I was making, I was talking earlier about the parity in the field. That's why it's not just a straight march from the back to the front now. Like, there's actually things need to happen in kind of a more positive way in order for him to kind of complete that move forward as he would hope to do, as we see Hurdle in pit lane.
Yeah, we got 3 cars down pit road to, I guess, begin this kind of a green flight pit window here. Andy Hurdle, Jared Ireland, and Mason Tomlinson are all down.
Go figure, the 2 Kansas guys come in on the same lap.
Looks like Ireland's going to go for 4 tires. That probably, I'd imagine all 3 of them will. I don't think Tomlinson did.
Yeah, it could be an interesting call. We've seen that kind of backfire in the Kansas races from last year, if I recall. Seems like 4 would be the move.
Okay, Ireland actually went for just right sides. Tomlinson went for nothing. Hurdle went for all 4.
All right, we'll have to see how that all shakes out here.
See, Magram's now going to make his way down. Looks like somebody else in behind him does as well. That's going to be Jose Mercado. Ryan O'Toole, Tom Janikowski, a lot of these guys coming in.
And coming in earlier than that fuel window would have otherwise dictated, because I believe it said 27 to 30, correct? They're more or less just splitting the stage in half here, or a little bit further.
It's probably that. Again, mathematically, we were going off of how much fuel you'd have left, but it definitely is ideal to come in a couple laps earlier, just to, again, kind of do that halfway mark. But there could be some drivers that do come in maybe a couple laps from now. Again, there's still a lot of drivers that have not come in just yet, so they will more than likely, especially too, like maybe someone like MacAulay or Higginbotham, like we know how fast these guys can be on fresh tires on the intermediate ovals. They will certainly have an advantage over these guys, but it's a matter of how much time they truly have when it gets to the end of the stage.
Yeah, interesting. You can see the difference between MacAulay and Higginbotham's stops. I feel like you'll find out that Higgy probably took more fuel plus the 4 tires. MacAulay just looking for track position, I think, which not a bad idea, especially early on.
So yeah, Kalenian went for 4. I believe Noel just went for 4 there as well. I do wonder, again, Noel got into the wall a couple of times before this window, so I do wonder if he might be potentially putting on some optional repairs.
Well, I mean, the clock keeps going up, so yeah, wouldn't be surprised. That'll put him at least a lap down.
Meanwhile, the number 21 Toyota Alley eRacing Toyota of Adam Wilson continuing to lead the way, now almost 4 seconds ahead of last year's Kansas playoff winner, the number 6 of Justin Belmonte. Charlie Sears now going to make his way down pit road. Kyle Knoll is still in this box.
And this would be, of course, Sears' first scheduled pit stop of the evening. Yeah, maybe overshot it a little bit.
Just a tad bit. But again, too, having that first pit box, especially when it comes to if there are cautions, like if drivers decide to pit under the stage yellows, or maybe there are like incident-related cautions throughout the race, Sears will have a pretty decent advantage with that first pit box.
Yeah, the restart violation sort of negates that in the early going, but there's still time for the 32 to be able to figure it out, as he's a couple laps down here now. But yeah, he's the next guy that I'd be looking at to say, I wonder what he's going to try in order to make his way back up, limit the damage, so to speak.
Mark Roulette and Jason Heaney, both Koopa's Racing drivers, currently down pit road. Heaney's actually been in for over half a minute. Roulette's also been in for some decent time here. Kyle Knoll finally made his way out. There's the race leader. Adam Wilson now makes his way down for his scheduled pit stop.
Yeah, I wonder if, again, the two Koopa's drivers maybe got caught up a little bit more in some of the contact that we were seeing than perhaps we initially thought.
Looks like Wilson opts for just fuel instead of tires. Mark Roulette finally makes his way out of his box. Jason Heaney did some time ago.
Yeah, Wilson, I think, can get away with that. 10 laps if he can hang on realistically, as we see the final 4 drivers who had yet to pit. Looks like they're all in now. wouldn't be surprised if it's just a splash and dash for this quartet as well.
That would be correct for Belmonte. He just sails his way right out of his box with a 6.70 time stop. Yeah, it looks like most guys are just kind of topping off and just trying to make their way to the end.
Yeah, Beatty might have taken a couple of tires there to get that 9.8 second stop, but the fact that he was able to kind of hold on to the car for that long in its original run could be an encouraging sign here for the 25 as he, again, kind of gets reintegrated on this particular side of things.
Jared Ireland, the number 13 Boot Hill Chevrolet, again, Kansas born. And again, got his first career victory at Kansas last year in the first race of the two that we had on the schedule. Looks like he's currently trying to make his way to what would be his second stage win of the season. He won stage 1 back at Las Vegas. It's been, to say the least, it's been quite the, I guess you could call it kind of a sophomore slump. Again, he was a rookie with us in the NASCAR Series last year. He has raced with us on the open wheel side as well, but in terms of NASCAR, it just, judging by his character and the skills that he brings to the network, it just hasn't been a characteristic season for him.
Yeah, a bit of bad luck in the first couple weeks, but I think you saw signs of life at Circuit of the Americas last week with that top 5 finish. And again, there were flashes with, as you mentioned, that stage win in round 2 this year at Las Vegas. So, the signs are there. He's just got to get clear track. Not the easiest thing to do in the Canadian eMotorsports network.
Indeed, and man, too, this guy knows what to do when it comes to the intermediate tracks and strategies and stuff, especially with tire wear, because he perfectly executed the strategy last year in that first Kansas race against the number 17 of Corbin MacAulay, who Ireland was able to barely save the tires just a little bit better, and hence that wild battle that we had at the end of the race, which is what led to us witnessing the number 13 visit victory lane in the NASCAR Series for the first time. Went on to be the championship runner-up as well. So looking to, again, continue that momentum, as you said, with the top 5 finish at Circuit of the Americas last week. Try to, again, make his way into the playoff field on points. And as we said, as we were talking about in the pre-race show, all those close gaps and everything that we have currently towards that cut line. He's only 2 points out after being, probably was 30, 40 points back earlier in the season. So he's certainly making his way up. And again, as we said, still early in the season, he's got plenty of time to make things happen. And no doubt that he'll be in victory lane at some point very soon, as I guess we might as well go here to the number 10 of Jason Butler, who carrying on the title sponsor for tonight's event with the GSGSG Vinyl 3D. He did not participate in last week's Deluxe of London 120 Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas, so glad to see him back here at Kansas.
Indeed so, and obviously that's sent him down the standings here a little bit, so number 10 will have some work to do over the next couple of months if he wants to get back into the playoff picture. But again, how many times have we said it? It's still early on, and there's different ways to make your way up the standings. A lot of guys will kind of be consistent. A lot of guys will rely on stage points for that little bit of a boost, but Jason Butler, he eventually will have some rather difficult work to do, but he showed last season, especially toward the end of the regular season, that he's capable. So don't be surprised again if you see him get back into that kind of competitive mode here over the next couple of months.
He's currently 20th in points, 31 points back of the cut line. But again, as you said too, he was able to hang on in the points to get that final playoff spot in the Daytona regular season finale back in Season 4, as the white flag has just flown for Stage 1. It's the number 13 of Jared Ireland, who is well on his way to his second stage win of the season. 3.5 seconds ahead of the number 7 of Andy Hurdle, Jordan Kalenian. It looks like these two... Oh, Hurdle actually just got on the wall there, so it looks like the 0 might try to steal second place from the 7. But it's all Jared Ireland here too, the stage checkered flag. That'll be his second stage win of the season.
Yeah, and obviously a big 10 points there for Ireland just to help them jump up the overall standings, just to make those playoff points mean a little bit more.
The rest of the top 10 will make their way to the start-finish line here. There's the caution. And so, your top 10 for Stage 1, Jared Ireland, Jordan Kalenian, Andy Hurdle, Adam Wilson, Ty Higginbotham rounds out the top 5, Tom Janikowski, C.D. Magrum, Justin Belmonte, Mason Tomlinson, and Corbin MacAulay rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, good start, and again, you see a number of guys who made their way through the field in order to get to the top 10. You look at, again, your Higginbotham starting from 18th, even Kalenian starting from 8th to get up to 2nd. That was a good run from him. Obviously, MacAulay at the back there as well. The guys who are at the back right now, I don't think there's too much reason to worry right this second. As long as you're on the lead lap, you've got a shot.
Indeed, and yes, Hidden Munchies, we do read the chat. Looks like we got a friend of Adam Wilson in here, so appreciate you being in here, and apologies, 499 Racing. It's not 499 Racing, so appreciate that correction. Glad to see you guys in here supporting Charlie Sears, of course, who, again, had that restart violation after scoring the pole. But, again, still early on in the race, still plenty of time for things to shake up, and for him to get back in the running for the race victory, of course. As everybody makes their way onto pit road to make pit stops here under this first stage caution. Looks like Jared Ireland's going to jump all of them and make his way off pit road first.
Well, he would have gone in first, so not a huge shock, but yeah, for Ireland, worst to first is a little bit overrated, but, you know, positionally, that's pretty much what he's done.
So he did go for right sides. Let's see if he went for all 4 tires. Yes, he did. So, I mean, yeah, he was the first one on, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he had that little bit of an extra window to make it happen. And, yeah, he'll be the one ultimately controlling the pace here.
So the 13 continues to lead the way. Jordan Kalenian, Adam Wilson, Ty Higginbotham, C.D. Magrum rounding out the top 5. MacAulay came out 6th, Tomlinson 7th, Janikowski's 8th, Andy Hurdle, Mike Marini rounding at the top 10 thus far. And is that Jose
He did make a late pit stop toward the end of stage 1, so if he's further down the field, that's certainly why. I know I kind of caught it while we were watching another car go by. It looked like it was the 41 who was either just coming off pit road or making his way down toward it.
So you see him disappear. Now he's 7 laps down, so I wonder what might be going on there with the number 41.
Yeah, not 100% sure. Again, I did see that late pit stop that he had to make, but yeah, hopefully it's nothing too severe. At this point, yeah, significant number of laps down. Could spell the end of any true contention, but you always want to see the guy back on the track.
There were a couple of guys that came down pit road for a second time. Charlie Sears, I believe, came down the second time. Jason Butler and Chase Beatty, I'm uncertain of them. But all the lap cars are going to drive by the pace car. Everybody's going to get double file here so we can get underway with the second stage. It looks like it's going to be a 35-lap shootout for this one.
Yeah, usually, as we've mentioned before, usually it's about a 4-lap window for the stages.
Mercado blew the engine. Bad downshift.
Oh. Okay, no yellow brick road here for the 41 to travel to get back into this one. Blown engine, not the way he wanted this night to end.
And especially, too, he's currently 8th in the driver standings. It's been a pretty solid start to the season for the GTR driver. If I take a look here at his results so far this season, 6th, 7th, 9th, and 9th. He hasn't finished outside the top 10 once this season, so it's been a hell of a start for him, especially for a guy that, alongside another plethora of drivers, struggled in the transition to iRacing last season. So just very unfortunate right there. As back on the racetrack here, we're going to get underway for the second stage with the number 13 of Jared Ireland leading the way. He gets the jump on the start.
Yeah, rather impressive jump there, but it won't take long for Kalenian to reel him in. Adam Wilson will want to get in on that as well. A trio of purple cars here to make up the top 3 in the early going. If they were teammates, they could be the purple people eaters.
Charlie Sears down pit road again.
He wouldn't have messed up the restart again, would he?
Well, no, he would have been at the back, so I mean...
Unless there was just an early jump. Not 100% sure what would go on there. I'm sure we'll find answers as we go along.
Yeah, we'll definitely need some context on what's going on with him, because holy moly, just a lot of bad luck for the guy who, of course, scored the pole here tonight.
Yeah, this is about as unlucky a start as you could imagine from the 32, again, given that circumstance of being on pole here tonight.
Meanwhile, up front here, there's a dive bomb by the number 0. Kalenian to the inside of Ireland, looking for the race lead. Kalenian's going to have the better run on the high side. Kalenian will jump in behind. Adam Wilson continuing to hold firm up front here in the 3rd spot. Looks to try to get the run on Kalenian. The 2 rookies going at it here up front. C.D. Magram in behind in 4th. Corbin MacAulay making the jump over Ty Higginbotham for that 5th position. Mason Tomlinson's also going to take advantage of the 97. And again, as you said earlier too, Jordy, not really a whole struggle for the 17. I mean, still early on, he's making his way up towards the front now.
Yeah, but again, it hasn't been easy, or perhaps the straightforward path that some observers may have expected. Again, it speaks to the depth of field overall here. If there's going to be a strong finish, he's going to have to work for it.
Adam Wilson not able to clear Kalenian there for the 2nd spot. The 0 with the much better advantage there from the high side. Ireland holding firm by about 2/10 or so. Double file action for 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go 3 wide here with Tomlinson, Magram, and MacAulay there for a second. And, the fact that Tomlinson's hanging in there, that's really encouraging as well. He's a guy that has run pretty well. He's just run into a couple of unfortunate circumstances at both Daytona and Vegas. I know he was
3 wide. CD. Yes, sorry about that. Magram dove it way down to the inside for that 2nd spot, and it actually worked.
Hey, you got to look out for number 1, and Magram literally did that, and got rewarded for it this time around. And I mean, you look at the finishes again. He's 2nd overall in points, best driver without a win so far to this point in the season. Not a surprise to see him pull something out of the bag of tricks.
So Magram will chase after Ireland for the race lead. Meanwhile, back here, we got a 4-car battle going on for the 3rd position. Kalenian, Wilson, MacAulay, Tomlinson going at it. Ty Higginbotham's trying to join in, kind of quietly invade the battles. Sun continuing to go down. Tracks getting grippier here now in lap 54 of 134. Relatively single file through most of the field here now.
Yeah, I think guys just mainly settling in here for the meat of this second stage. And yeah, just not wanting to do anything super crazy yet. That Magram dive aside. But yeah, these are guys who, they're not going to get too rattled by anything that's happening around them.
Indeed so. Wilson's still trying to dive to the inside of Kalenian, but that's actually going to help Tomlinson with that high line advantage coming off the corner. And so he's going to jump up to the 4th spot. Wilson falling back to 5th. 17 stays up high. 97 dives down low. And now we got a battle here for the race lead. Magram has caught up to the 13, but not too far behind either are Kalenian or Tomlinson.
Yeah, it looked like Magram might have gotten the better run. Ireland might get the better exit out of the high line here, but Magram, he's got speed tonight.
A lot of close, almost close calls back there between Wilson, MacAulay, and Higginbotham. It looked like a couple of them tapped the wall there. Justin Belmonte's now starting to join the battle back there.
Yeah, these guys aren't giving themselves an inch, or they're not giving each other an inch here on track, and they're not compromising an inch here either. Again, how many guys have we seen just running right up into that wall, especially, you know, coming through some of these turns?
Yeah, the top 7 the top 7, 8-ish are only they're within a 1 second gap. So lots of close action going on here as Kalenian dives down to the inside of the 13. He's going to slide up the track just a little bit. That might help Magram to try and make it potentially through. Oh, contact!
Yeah, there's a caution.
Kalenian and Magram go around off of turn 2. Caution's out. So you saw Kalenian slide up a little bit. Then Magram tried to dive it in down low there. May have slid up into the 0. We're going to have to take a look at the replay before we make any decisions on opinions there. But yeah, I guess you could say that was bound to happen.
And I thought Ireland might have actually tapped the wall with his right rear quarter panel there as well beforehand. But again, we'll have to take another look at all this.
I heard a potential reaction. Did some... What? Oh my! Higginbotham almost ran to the back of the 17.
Well, everybody's running into the pace car, as you can see.
And that too, yes. But...
the old ghost car.
I heard a reaction there, so I kind of had to see what went on there. But we'll see here. Yeah, Kalenian dove it up. Magram tried to get in there on the inside. Oh yeah, Magram up the track. Kalenian looks like he held his line. Then they both go around.
But both hang on, and it doesn't look like anyone else was collected.
And that's what does matter. These two will still be able to keep going. But you saw Kalenian kind of have a bit of a wiggle there from the white line.
Yeah. So just kind of lost the speed maybe through the turn. Magram, that thing's an absolute rocket ship tonight, like I said. When fast meets slow, these things happen.
Yeah, could have been a potential case there. Just not expecting Kalenian to have a bit of a slightly less momentum there off the corner. But so everybody just came down pit road right there. I guess, yeah, might as well get a quick replay of everybody coming down. We'll see what decisions drivers made here under this incident-related caution, which is, again, I believe the first one that we've had again since Phoenix, because Circuit of the Americas had plenty of incidents, but again, being a long road course, it wasn't meant to trigger iRacing cautions, but of course, what we just saw there definitely had to.
Well, I mean, thank God it didn't. Again, the fact that you only had the 34 laps and 8 of them were taken up by the stage cautions, brutal.
So some guys opting for just fuel, some went for tire decisions there. I want to see what Ireland, the race leader, did. Looks like he went for just fuel. Everybody else just kind of jostling with their decisions. Saw the 17 and the 6 lift up. Yeah, 4 tires for the 17 and the 6, so definitely keep an eye on those two.
Yeah, you would have to think, especially later on in the stages, we're just hitting halfway here now, maybe 1 lap past. That grip advantage could very well come into play. That could be very solid timing for those 2 drivers in particular who opted for the 4.
And I think with this race summary, I think that logo, I assume that's new, because I don't recall that ever being there, so props on that.
Yeah, that's a good call.
But yeah, after 60, or it looks like it's going to be 61 of 134 laps here so far. Again, 2 cautions. One was the first stage yellow, the mandatory one. The second one was the incident that we just had there with Kalenian and Magram. 53 laps under green, 8 laps under caution, 2 lead changes, 4 different leaders. MacAulay with the fastest lap so far with a 30.4 on lap 50. And speaking of grippy racing too and such, I mean, track temperature is only 22 degrees Celsius. So, again, clear conditions under the lights. Things are really going to ramp up here as this continues onward, and I believe according to the math, it should be 19 laps to go here in the second stage, coming to 18 for the restart.
There you go.
I was able to pass. I was able to pass journalism in college recently, so yeah, I was also able to pass math in school. But anyways, yeah, you were saying.
Well, I was gonna say, look at that. The 2 guys from Eudora, Kansas, occupying the front row on this restart. And for those who are geographically inclined, if I look at Google Maps right about now, it is a 26-minute drive from Eudora to this very Kansas Speedway. So very much a race in their own backyard.
Big jump by the 13 on the restart, so 18 laps to go to decide who gets the second stage victory. Will Ireland try to sweep them here? Adam Wilson slides up the track, almost 4 wide action here coming off the corner. It goes to 3 wide, thank goodness. Janikowski pops in and out just a little bit. He's still going straight though, that's what matters. Fingers crossed everybody makes it through here safe and sound. The 17 slides up just a little bit. Oh, almost contact there with the 0 through the tri-oval. Kalenian with that big run there down on the apron. Rookies side by side for the 4th position. How about the number 12 of Mike Marini there in the 3rd spot?
He's doing it very, very quietly.
Yikes.
But, I mean, one thing I've always said about Marini, he's been fantastic on 1 lap pace.
Oh man, sorry. There's just too much close
No, that's
racing
fine. That is totally fine. Yeah, I was gonna say 1 lap pace. He's usually pretty reliable. As we get it 3 wide again, maybe a little wall brush.
Keep going.
Well, no, I was gonna say just a matter of stringing it all together over the course of a race distance. Like, it hasn't always been the case, whether it's been, you know, by his own doing or just kind of getting caught up in unfortunate circumstances. But Marini, I'm sure he's going to be hungry to get back to the
picture.
picture.
Hurdle goes around in the middle of the pack. More cars collected.
Oh, Hurdle lost a wheel, I think.
Kyle Knoll also made contact in there. Andy Hurdle, Trevor Binns get caught up.
Oh, boy.
I was saying on that restart, things are about to ramp up here at Kansas, and we indeed just saw evidence of that as the number 7, who again qualified 3rd tonight, gets turned through the tri-oval on lap 66. That will be our 3rd caution of the night, 2nd incident related. So, again, we'll have to take a look at what just happened there through the tri-oval. This is a lap ahead, so we'll skip ahead. We'll go about here.
Yeah, Hurdle on the high line. And, yeah, didn't have Mangrum cleared.
Bit of a side swipe there on the number 15. Binns also gets caught up in that one. Good avoidance there by Butler. Roulette slowed down a good job as well.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, that might have been a little too over anxious there from the man from the Gem City. Yeah.
And again, it's all about the angles too, because there's one angle where it looks like someone may have come up, but then there's another one where it seems like someone comes down. So, yeah, definitely
that's
that's
one to evaluate in real time.
I'd say that one definitely, the 7 came down just a little bit there. Definitely it wasn't clear, but regardless, just not the ideal situation for anybody.
No, and yeah, a little bit more collateral damage than we saw from the Kalenian Mangrum incident from just a few laps ago.
So good job there by Jason Butler to get by that one.
Yeah, and you saw Hurdle lost the front as a result of getting turned and then hit the additional time or two.
As you see there on the leaderboard, Jose Mercado is the only DNF of the race so far.
Yeah, I wonder if it's about to become 2, though. We'll have to see how long it takes Hurdle to get that damage fixed, is if he opts to do that as we see more guys coming in. And yeah, we're getting a little bit of context from the YouTube chat here as well. And yeah, it just looks like, maybe lack of awareness on the track. Mangrum, according to, I guess, our by default in-race reporter, Jose Mercado, Mangrum has not been using the apron all race. And yeah, Andy just, in Jose's eyes, we should say, just looked like he wasn't aware. And I mean, that sort of corroborates our initial assessment that maybe the 7 came down a little bit too quickly and didn't clear.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, 20 cars remaining in this one. 17 are on the lead lap.
And we're on the nice lap.
Yippee. Going slow and steady on the nice lap.
I mean, I'm sure I could say something more, but I've been off a week. I'm rusty.
You got to come back in some sort of fashion there, but
yeah.
Somebody's surprised that Beatty has made it to halfway. I mean, the guy's in 12th. He's trying.
I don't know if it's fair to call it a surprise. We know the quality. Oh, okay. That's really okay. Nikki, you get in here and see if you can do better.
Yeah, the number 18 is still waiting for you, buddy.
But yes, folks, we know it's coming from an honest and loving place.
Indeed, so we're all trying to be positive and have a positive and friendly community here within the Canadian eMotorsports network, of course. But Chase beating the number 25 Owens, a minor GTR Ford. So far, so good. He's been able to make it through his way through the race thus far. And I mean, quite frankly, for his first race, I think what matters most is that he just makes it to the finish, especially with some of these incidents that we've had here recently. But it's going to be a 10-lap shootout, fingers crossed, to solve this second and middle stage here at Kansas Speedway. Jared Ireland gets another jump on the restart, but then he's got the number 17 that's going to try and hunt him down, and that 17 will be looking for what would be his fourth stage win of the season through 5 rounds so far, if he's able to make his way up.
And again, these were the two guys that were at, well, 2 of the 3 guys at the back of the field. Beatty was in there as well, but Ireland started 20th. So again, the fact that these two have climbed through the field to get here, hey, kudos to them.
And again, remember the 17 got those 4 fresh tires the last time everybody pitted. The 13, on the other hand, did not. So, wow, what a squeeze there by the 17 coming off a 2. But he takes the lead. Now with 9 laps to go in stage 2. Ireland with a bit of a slide there along the high line. 17 gets the jump there side by side for the 4th position. It might become a 3-car battle here. 2 Tornado Alley guys versus the defending Kansas winner.
Yeah.
Kalenian with the dive bomb there on the 13. That's going to make him lose a ton of momentum coming off the corner.
I was going to say, I don't know how much of a battle that's going to be. You mentioned MacAulay being one of the guys who took 4 tires in the last caution. Justin Belmonte was right there with him. So he should have that grip advantage too. I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps up to, maybe a nice little P2 in this stage.
Lots of close action from about second onward here. Ireland Kalenian still going at it very close. I think the 13 just got into the wall. Double file action from third on back. Kalenian still making a lot of inside line, I guess you could say dive bombs here through the corners. Oh my gosh, I thought there was going to be contact there between the 13 and the 97. 6 laps to go in the stage. Look at that run from Belmonte up on the high side. Oh, and he's in the wall. How are they still going?
Yeah, there was definitely a tap there, and yeah, you mentioned Belmonte having that huge run on the back of Higginbotham, but I think he went into the wall again.
And yet he goes in the middle, and yet he's about to pass the 97.
Well, there's that 4-tire grip. There's your answer. Belmonte's able to keep it going forward, and
oh man,
he's got really good pace right now, it looks like.
These guys are just jostling for some extra stage points here. Now with 5 laps to go. It's kind of single-filed out a little bit. Still some double-file action a couple positions back. But that 17 with that, those 4 fresh tires compared to everybody else. I mean, again, Belmonte as well trying to make his way through a couple of these cars here. MacAulay a second and a half ahead of the 13. So 3-car battle here for that second spot. And then back here, some double-file action. Adam Wilson making his way back up to the front, up against the number 97. Kalenian starting to fall back. Hunter Young trying to get some stage points in there. So, been a quiet run from him so far tonight. But would be well-deserved to get a couple extra stage points here if he's able to hang on.
Yeah, sometimes quiet's the way to go. Who's that coming out of?
That was Andy Hurdle. Oh my gosh, 3 wide here for the second spot. Belmonte jumps both Mangrum and Ireland.
Didn't I call that?
Indeed you did.
Now, Mangrum's going to have the inside line here, but Belmonte, he's just got pure power as Ireland's in the wall again.
Belmonte and Ireland both have had some bad luck coming off of turn 2 since the restart. I mean, I think it was on even the restart before that where there were issues there. And oh my gosh, Chase Beatty might be going for stage points.
Hey, you love to see it. First race back. Absolutely get those competitive juices flowing again.
And again, even though he's only starting out the season here in round 5, all the points here are going to matter, especially if Beatty at some point later in the regular season is able to visit victory lane and walk his way into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs.
And another sneaky guy in the points is Ryan O'Toole, holding down that 10th spot right now.
Over Jason Heaney and Mason Tomlinson. So, of course, the white flag out for the second stage. Number 17 well on his way to the win. We'll see if there's some more double file action here. Charlie Sears is 2 laps down, so we can kind of ignore his presence, unfortunately. But yeah, there's going to be a couple guys that might try to dive bomb it here for the final points, but to the stage checkered, it's going to be the number 17 of Corbin MacAulay taking it. But we have to pay attention back here to see who's going to be able to take some of these extra points. And it looks like Beatty,
new names here.
O'Toole and Beatty are going to hang on for the final spots. Heaney falls just short. So I believe the top 10 stage results here are going to be MacAulay, Belmonte, C.D. Magrum, Jared Ireland, Adam Wilson, Hunter Young, how about that? Ty Higginbotham, Jordan Kalenian, Chase Beatty, and Ryan O'Toole.
Yeah, and again, good to see a couple of different names there toward the bottom of the top 10. Again, you mentioned, like, every point does matter, and officially Chase Beatty's on the board, and, you know, Ryan O'Toole, I think that's his first stage points of the year as well. So, you know, we're getting a little bit of unpredictability tonight here, Reegs, and I gotta say, I love it.
Indeed, man. We're exactly witnessing what some of these drivers are anticipating here tonight at Kansas with some of the wacky restarts, very close racing with how grippy this track is. And we've seen it in real life, too, with the NASCAR Cup Series and the Next Gen car ever since it debuted back in 2022. Holy moly, has it ever put on some incredible racing at, again, tracks like Kansas and Charlotte. And, yeah, Charlotte's one track in particular that I absolutely cannot wait for later in the season. As a matter of fact, we actually never went into detail about that one. We never went into full detail about the schedule in the pre-race show, so we'll try to get to that maybe a little bit here once everybody cycles through on pit road under this stage caution.
Yeah, I mean, either way, things are just heating up.
So I imagine pretty much everybody's going to go for 4 fresh tires and fuel.
Okay, I'm going to need some context behind that comment that just popped in.
Oh?
Well, do you happen to have a hole in the other side of your wall?
Do I have the ability to see? I don't know if I have the ability that he's talking about.
No, that's not what I'm talking about now.
Oh,
okay. Oh, no, he caught... Okay,
so Sears had a passing under yellow-black flag the last time he came down pit road, and then MacAulay's... It's another case of a speeding penalty for the 17.
Yeah, that's what I'm just seeing. I had to wonder if maybe that was going to be the thing. But, yeah, as soon as I saw that reaction, I'm like, yeah, not amazing.
I believe we're going to be going back to green probably with 48 laps to go in the GSGSG Kansas 200. So the 17 still has plenty of time to make his way back up to the front as long as, again, like we saw in the second stage, hopefully things remain quote-unquote clean. But clearly with how many of the shootouts that we had there in that middle stage.
Well, like I said, guys are more comfortable with each other. They're getting their elbows out. The racing's just getting that much more intense.
And I guess in the meantime, as everybody paces through here and as we will get back underway for the third and final stage, might as well briefly take a look at the schedule since we missed out on it in the pre-race show. But yeah, we, again, including tonight, 3 races for the rest of the month here. But after tonight, we go to a pair of short tracks where Dover International Speedway, we previously visited back during the NASCAR Heat 5 era, the console era, I should say, because I believe we were also on Heat 4 you guys were on Heat 4 during that time. But yeah, Dover and North Wilkesboro coming up, some short track action, then the road course at Sonoma to begin the month of May, and then there's, of course, the race that everybody loves, the basically the half Coke 600 at Charlotte. So lots of excitement and anticipation coming up for the rest of this month, and also heading into the month of May.
Yeah, I have to think back. I think we may have only done Dover in season 1.
Only a one season thing, huh?
I think, yeah.
If that's the case, then holy moly, what do we expect?
I'm on the website now. I will take a look because my memory isn't immediately there on it. Oh no, we did do it in season 2, but maybe not since then.
So that'll certainly make things interesting. And I even behind the scenes, there's been some drivers in discussions about that track, and some people are not exactly looking forward to it because of how tight in terms of the width of the track, not the actual racing itself, although maybe it is. Still have to find that out, of course.
A little column A, a little column B.
Exactly, as everybody's going to make their way to the start-finish line. The flagman's going to wave the green. One final stage to decide the GSGSG Kansas 200 here at Kansas Speedway, round 5 of 22, 48 laps to decide who will be going to the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs, at least if it's not Higginbotham or MacAulay or Kalenian, yes.
And I mean, you got 2 of those guys in 3rd and 4th. The other one, again, down in 15th after the speeding penalty. But again, we've seen guys, MacAulay himself tonight. They've climbed through this field to make things interesting. I would be shocked if it didn't happen again.
You can see that 17 already trying to charge his way back up to the front as we got most cars up front single file as CD Magram currently holds a firm lead. From chasing from behind are the 13-0. Man, those guys are almost like magnets with how they've always been pretty much battling through this entire race. As the 0 looks like he was trying to side draft the 13 there. Might have been the other way around. And lots of close action here going on towards the back. Again, that 17 trying to charge his way up. You see Jason Butler, Tom Janikowski in a battle for the 11th spot.
Yeah, obviously some different variables with the longer 3rd stage here this time around. But, still early in this one yet. I'll be interested to see what the strategies look like.
Kalenian has passed Ireland 4 seconds, so now the 0 is going to try to side draft the 1, make a side-by-side battle for the race lead, but that run, the 13 head from the high side coming off the corner, was much better, and the 0 slides up the track, blocking the 1 up high. Wouldn't surprise me if Magram had to back off just a little bit, and how about this? We got Tomlinson and Jason Heaney up here battling up front.
And don't forget, right at the front of the field, it was Kalenian and Magram who got tied up to trigger that first in-race caution of the evening back in Stage 2.
Mike Marini also making his way up. The 17 is already up to 11th, almost side-by-side here with Chase Beatty. Top 3-4 single file. Rookie's going at it for the 5th spot. Kalenian has pulled away by about almost half a second.
Yeah,
Three wide nearly.
Pretty good run most of the evening, Kalenian has. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah, look at how fast that number 17 is. He is really trying to make his way back up to the front. Looking for the win against some familiar faces, of course, from previous races and previous seasons. Also battle back here, Kyle Nolan, Ryan O'Toole going at it.
But again, there's a few guys who haven't necessarily been in this position within the network, or at least in season 5 yet. So, yeah, we got some ingredients for a spicy finish here, Reegs.
Indeed, to Mike Nickens, Monza is absolutely going to be wild.
No chicane either, for the record.
Just practically speeding right through.
Yes.
Just nothing. Like nothing at all.
Pretty much.
It'll be nice to get, go racing internationally after a couple of times. Obviously the couple of times during the console era where we went to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park up in Ontario. But instead of going up north of the border, we'll be going, I guess you could say, east over the Atlantic Ocean for our first ever race outside of North America.
Yeah. No worries about travel considerations there, I suppose.
Do we have a cargo ship lined up?
Why not?
As long as it's not departing from a certain place. That was very dark.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm not going to go any further on that. Jordan Kalenian continues to...
Well, neither did the ship. Anyway, go on.
Yes. Jordan Kalenian just over half a second ahead of the 13 and the 1. Tomlinson, Higginbotham going at it for the 4th spot. The 17 still trying to charge his way up side by side with Hunter Young. Whoa, contact! Tomlinson gets turned.
Yeah, I saw that right before the camera angle changed.
Caution is out on lap 96, so again, another case of tri-oval turning.
Yeah, and okay, so in-race reporter, first analysis is he wasn't clear. Let's take another look.
The only way to find out is to go back and check. Oh yeah, not clear at all.
Yeah, not.
Oh man.
I mentioned it earlier. This is the 3rd time already this season that Tomlinson's been caught up in a Stage 3 incident. And you know what? He's been contending in those races, but yeah, just maybe a little too overzealous here. Didn't clear Higginbotham. And yeah, the 4 pays the price.
He almost turned into him.
Yeah, a good bit of avoidance here.
From Justin Belmonte. This is on board with Ty Higginbotham.
Yeah, this is the obviously affected 97, and yeah, he had his line. And we're getting word of maybe another incident involving Tomlinson. Yeah, that was Tomlinson and... Well, we're getting word of maybe Tomlinson and Wilson coming together. We'll have to look that one up. Yeah, just trying to find some answers. That's why, maybe a little bit of radio silence here as we try to get everything accounted for. Yeah, close proximity here in pit lane.
So if it would have had to happen before pit road.
That might be well,
Yeah,
I was going to say, was that the same spin?
That was the same spin, so I
Yeah, that might be a post-race post-mortem to see if we can figure that one out. Yeah, because like there's nothing. Evident
wait.
Yeah, 'cause this is Wilson in the foreground, right?
That is Wilson in front of him.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be. I do know we're probably close to the restart, though.
Yeah, I'm having a bunch of brain farts. I don't know.
Well, we'll see if anything further comes from that, but yeah, in the meantime, back to the focus on the track itself.
And that is what matters the most. Of course, just get right back to the racing. It's going to be, I believe, 35 laps to go. Let me get back green here. So, why not just get it over with, just in case something else does happen? TrackGames22.com. Crank it up. Let's go. So that was the TrackCams22.com crank it up. We thank them very much for providing us with the cameras that you see us using here on these live productions, live broadcasts for Canadian Motorsports Network Racing on iRacing, especially for the NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. As I was saying all that, Ty Higginbotham on pit road.
And he was running toward the head of the field, too. This is an interesting development. Yeah, that length of stop, you got to think it's the full service.
All 4 tires for the 97. So definitely trying to make it last the distance. CD Magrum with almost a second lead over Jordan Kalenian. Belmonte third. He'll go to the inside. That's going to give the 21 a big rush there on the high side. Never mind, he's going to pit road. That aged poorly. Oh, man.
Ooh. Yeah, he had some heat on that one, didn't he?
Hit some Heaney?
Well, he needed one of Heaney's, like, Koopa turtles to slow him down.
That makes sense, too. So, yeah, pretty much 4 tires for almost everyone. Now, Kalenian's going to make his way in. Just check here to see what everyone did. I imagine Heaney probably went for... Yeah, Heaney, Bins, they pretty much all had similar times, so... Probably all fresh 4 tires and Sunoco fuel.
You'd have to think so at this point.
Kalenian's going to go for that. Tom Janikowski is in. Had a bit of a couple... He just loves being a ghost. Jared Ireland, Corbin MacAulay, now in.
Janikowski with only a 10-second stop, though. That's interesting.
Let's see if that cycles out okay for him. MacAulay looks like he may have overshot his box a little. Ireland out before MacAulay.
And looks like he probably only took 2 tires as well, 9.8 seconds.
So we got the replay on this just to check. So yeah, looks like it was just right sides for the 13. Indeed.
All right, we're seeing some different strategies come to the forefront here. I gotta say, I like it.
That's a catastrophic incident.
Yeah, catastrophic ghosting.
So Magrum went for 4 tires. O'Toole looks like he's going to do the same. Jason Butler also on pit road now in the good old title sponsor car at GSGSG Vinyl 3D. And I might as well give the shout out to all the other sponsors and partners that really help make the racing happen here within the Canadian eMotorsports Network. Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, the title sponsor for the NASCAR Series, Rampage Coffee Co., Pipey Kettle Soup, Forked River Brewing Company, Bangarang Hard Seltzer, Nordic Aluminum, and GTR.
Yeah, we're thankful for all of those folks. Again, without that sponsor contribution, obviously we're not quite as capable of elevating the Canadian eMotorsports Network without that. So again, thanks to all you guys, lots of longtime sponsors there, and yeah, looking forward to continued partnerships.
Absolutely. It'll be Forked River that will sponsor next week's race on April 23rd at Dover International Speedway. It'll be the Forked River 200. GSGSG Vinyl 3D will be back with us for the 150 on April 30th at North Wilkesboro. And then they'll be back again for one last time on May 28th at Nashville Super Speedway. So they'll be on with us for... They'll be on with us tonight and then for 2 more races, so appreciate them very much, of course. for being with us. Mark Goulet on pit road. Looks like he's going for 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Now with 17 laps to go. If we look at the laps since last pit for everyone, or just the top 10 for some reason, top 5 still have yet to pit, and yeah, Sears back in the lead lap. I think he was still.
Wilson's in.
I think Sears was still a lap down before everyone came down pit road, though. I think.
That would track, yeah.
We'll see how it all cycles out when we get to the end of tonight's race. But Adam Wilson now on pit road. We'll see what he does.
I was going to say, I know we have to cycle through pit stops, but look at that name up at number 1.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, again, it might be fleeting, but hey, it's enough to, again, get the competitive juices flowing again. But, yeah, we'll have to see again. A final pit stop seems inevitable here, but we'll see how competitive he can be coming out. It would be fresh tires regardless. Not this time.
Fans in the chat going wild. Fans in the stands going wild. See, Nickens, he can lead. He can lead laps. With a first name that we do not go off of.
This is true. I mean, he did ask in the chat who was driving the car. So maybe there is something to that. I don't know.
We have an imposter leading the way. It's our version of, dang, who was that? The guy at Talladega that just showed up for one race and then disappeared.
Oh, jeez.
I can't think of it.
I'm sure the chat will have that one. They've had their smart responses here tonight. Let's have some factual responses too.
LW Wright.
There we go.
Now hang on. So yeah, Beatty's currently in the lead. Mike Marini is a second and a half back. Jared Ireland 27 seconds back, and then Charlie Sears at 28. Top 4 remaining on the lead lap right now. Okay, no one's on pit road yet. We got a bit of a pack going at here. 3 wide action through the tri-oval with 11 laps to go. Again, we still have about 3 guys that will still have to come down pit road towards the end, unless by some miracle. I
was gonna say, we did have that yellow in like early in stage 3 around lap 96, I believe. Maybe, well, that would track for when a tire change would have happened. I know we've been talking about more grip here, but that feels maybe like a bit of a stretch. But hey, stranger things have happened. Again, it's a 2-second lead right now. The rest of them would have to make up the lap. No, oh, no, maybe not.
No, he's just kind of letting them go, I imagine. The thing is, though, with how much fresher tires all these cars that are passing him have, though, with 9 laps to go, they are all more than likely going to come back around and just kill him.
Yeah, if we go at that rate, if we base it on Ireland, you're looking at like 2.5 seconds a lap in order to get back to him.
So Marini is a second and a half back right there. In second, Jared Ireland's third at almost 20 seconds back now. Okay, there it is.
Yep. It felt inevitable, didn't it?
Deep in our hearts, deep in the back of our minds, we were just kind of hoping that maybe, just maybe, he would try to do something.
Well, I mean, pitting this late, I think he did try to do something.
That is the thing. He could. Maybe there still is something for a good position here. As Charlie Sears makes his way down here. Oh no, Kalenian!
Yeah, that's man. Caution. Beatty's in pit lane.
In-race reporter Jose Mercado, what are your thoughts? Man.
He literally said hoping for the yellow. He spoke it into existence.
Oh, man. It's just like Phoenix. Somewhat.
Yeah, I think we're just... Okay, so it was 8 laps to go when it happened, so we're just outside the green-white checkered threshold with the iRacing caution mechanisms. Oh, yeah, MacAulay with a little bump on the back.
Whoa, and... Sears. Oh, Wilson with the big run. Is he going to slot? Oh, yeah, man, Wilson, too. Through the grass, he's able to make it. Keep the cars straight and keep going just fine. But yeah, just kind of 3 cars getting together. Cause a chain reaction.
Yeah, but again, nobody retiring as a result of it. So, yeah, there was a touch, but, ultimately everyone's able to keep going.
And thank goodness nobody got into the 0. Again, flashbacks of Las Vegas.
Yeah, he's been turned around a couple of times here to start this season.
But this is going to give Jared Ireland the race lead with 6 laps to go now. And, yeah, in-race reporter Jose Mercado he's trying to telling everybody to keep an eye on Mike Marini. Because if we do go opposite laps since last pit, I mean, actually, Marini just pitted.
Yeah, like, he hadn't pitted before we went yellow. Beatty was in pit lane when we went yellow.
And I think that's Hunter Young. No, that's not him. Would that be? Oh, that's Andy Hurdle. Okay, yeah, he's 11 laps down.
Yeah, you're maybe a 7 or 2 short there.
Marini not going... Okay, now he went for the tires. Okay. Does he go for all 4? He does.
I mean, that late, that's pretty much a gift to have that late caution. I mean, I'm kind of with in-race reporter Jose here. Like, I think, there's going to be guys charging. And, yeah, we're going to have some fireworks here.
And Jason Heaney makes his way to pit road. He's going to go for 4 fresh tires. So, again, if we go off a lap since last pit for a lot of these guys, I mean, look at this. Chase Beatty, Mike Marini, 3-1 compared to 17, 19, 17, 11. I mean, it's going to be a very, very short window to get to the checkered flag. I mean, unless we, again, we require overtime, just like we did back at Phoenix. But just keep an eye on these guys, and I don't know where this is going to cycle out Heaney, because he's coming back out in 9th. So he might have a chance too. Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Out of that lead group, I think Adam Wilson's the guy to watch, because you were talking about, tire life for some of the drivers. Wilson did stay out a little bit longer under green, so he was only at 11, I believe, since his pit stop. So he may be able to get a bit of a jump on that top 3. And again, he's a guy who hasn't won yet. He's been right there. He's been top rookie right up until last week when Kalenian took the win at Circuit of the Americas. But Wilson, he's a guy that's, for the most part, has been incredibly consistent, incredibly solid under any of these kinds of situations. If I had to pick, I think, I would lean toward the 21, but there's a lot of good competition up there at the head of the field.
Still a lot of guys trying to catch their way up here. I think they had to cycle around.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mercado saying take the low line and don't lift.
I mean, yeah, why take any other chance, right?
So it's going to be a 3-lap shoot at the front row. Are the 2 past winners at Kansas. Third place is a guy who's won here before. And then there's Adam Wilson, who's been fast all night. You got, actually, no, you know what? Even better than that, you got the 3 Tornado Alley guys trying to invade everybody here.
Yeah, and then you have, again, the guy in Mangrum with the most points without a win so far. This is going to be good, Riggs.
3 laps to go in the 2024 GSGSG Kansas 200. Everybody was able to cycle back. And so Jared Ireland with the lead. He gets the jump on the restart, but the 17 going to try to charge his way up. Bill Belmonte have the better run, though. Up on the high side, 17 blocks. I don't even know if I call that a block, actually, but Wilson and Mangrum side by side for 4th. Oh, Wilson's going to have a run through the middle. There's almost contact. Belmonte's in the wall.
Oh, yeah,
man,
that took Wilson down, too, I think.
Contact all over the place. 2 laps to go.
Green.
It's looking like it's probably going to be the 13 and the 17 that'll be going for it here. Meanwhile, towards the back, they're jostling for positions just outside the top 10. But the number 13 looks like he's well on his way to winning 2 of the past 3 races here at Kansas Speedway. White flag, final lap.
Yeah, he's got himself a sizable gap here now. If anyone wants to make a move, you got to do it now.
Some side-by-side battles throughout the field. Looks like Adam Wilson's going to try and steal the 2nd position away from the 17. He's gotten plenty of top 3 finishes and top 5 finishes so far throughout the season. Chase Beatty trying to fight for a spot up here with Kyle Noel, but to the checkered flag. Number 13 of Jared Ireland, well on his way to the checkered flag for his first win of the season. He locks himself into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. Well-deserved win for him. He sweeps all the stages. Or no, actually, no, he didn't win stage 2. Never mind, stage 1 in the race. I corrected myself quickly there. But regardless, I'm not surprised one bit. Even in my gut, I'm not gonna lie. In my gut, I was not gonna be surprised if he was gonna be the one to take it to victory lane, and indeed he did. And oh my gosh, Kalenian just slammed the outside wall.
A little bit of calamity here to end this one. But yeah, just like season 4, as you said, this is how Jared Ireland kickstarted his season last year with the win on the hometown track. Goes for it again in the regular season Kansas race. And yeah, he's locked in now. Again, we're not necessarily surprised by that. But yeah, that's an impressive performance. Again, you have to remember he started from pretty much the back of the pack and ultimately navigated his way through everything that happened. And Riggs, there was a lot that happened.
Indeed, so definitely one of the better races we've had here so far this season through 5 rounds in the Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. I mean, again, Ireland, man, great qualifying runs, but just could not get a solid finish. He was able to start the momentum up with a top 5 finish after qualifying 7th back at Circuit of the Americas last week, and now today, after qualifying, actually, he didn't even qualify. He pretty much started right at the tail and right near the tail end of the field. Won stage 1, I believe you said 4th in stage 2, and then he goes well on his way to victory for... What career victory would this be for him?
3.
Gotcha.
2 wins last year, and now obviously he's on the board this year.
So this man is just unstoppable here at Kansas Speedway. Again, remember he got the win last year as well. Pretty sure he had a solid finish during the playoff race too. Does the good old Alan Kowicki lap. And we were just seeing there behind the scenes, apparently That's the wrong tab. Apparently, there was some stuff that happened.
Well, I'm sure, again, that'll be part of that post-race post-mortem that I was talking about.
Okay, we're going to go back to the finish because I think that's where I'd want to review this.
Okay,
or
so
not.
Okay.
Well, again, we did see it happen.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused. There was a lot going on.
Oh, man.
Okay, so yeah, spin is one thing.
But it's the finish I'm curious about, though.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know what I'm seeing.
I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of eye of the beholder stuff here, and obviously you don't know the whole story. You do know this man is the headline in said story.
Absolutely it is. We might as well get into the unofficial results as we get the replay of Ireland going around. But fingers crossed that this is the accurate results, because we definitely had some issues in the past with this ticker, of course. But Jared Ireland, the number 13 Chevrolet from Eudora, Kansas. How about that?
Like we said, not even a half-hour drive away from the Speedway.
But yeah, the hometown boy gets the win. Corbin MacAulay, Adam Wilson will round out the podium. Justin Belmonte and CD Magram will finish inside the top 5. Mike Marini and Jason Heaney, again, taking advantage of, the late pit stops there with that late caution. They'll finish 6th and 7th. Ty Higginbotham 8th. Jordan Kalenian and Hunter Young will round out the top 10. The rest of the way, Tom Janikowski 11th, Trevor Binns 12th, Jason Butler 13th, Kyle Noel 14th, Chase Beatty will start off his return with a 15th place finish, Ryan O'Toole 16th, Mark Goulet 17th, that rounds out the lead lap cars, Mason Tomlinson 18th, Charlie Sears 19th, and to round it out, Andy Hurdle and Jose Mercado in 20th and 21st.
Yeah, not the... maybe most conventional order, but hey, what's wrong with a little bit of chaos this early in the year? Nothing.
Definitely some people behind the scenes giving him praise, and Jared saying that was one of his best drives ever. We can definitely agree with that one. He was consistent all race, of course, maybe a couple of wall taps every now and then, but nothing too major, of course. So
I mean, yeah, staying out of trouble, that is the name of the game, essentially.
And so I'll get into iRacing here and be able to chat with him for the post-race winner interview. Jordy, I imagine you'll just send me a question or two or something like that?
Yeah, I'll think of something.
Sounds good. So we'll get in here and see if we'll be able to get in communications here with the number 13 of Jared Ireland.
Yeah, and I will. I'll send it on Facebook so you can see it.
Sounds good. Jared Ireland, this is Regan from the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, mate.
All right, man, I got you. Jared, man, Finally, man, you've had a lot of bad luck here to start the season, but you're able to turn around, especially with momentum from a top 5 finish at Circuit of the Americas last week. You get the win here tonight at Kansas Speedway, your second career win here at the track after you won also. You got your first career victory here last year, of course. You won Stage 1, came home 4th in Stage 2, and you're able to win the race through what was, again, it was very entertaining, chaotic all the way through. Lots of double file, close racing, some fantastic restarts as well. Just take us through that whole thing and what it means to finally, take the monkey off your back after what's been a couple of rough races to begin this 5th season of NASCAR racing.
Yeah, so it's safe to say the start of the year didn't go well. It just felt like, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. And I felt like the bug for a good first 3 or 4 weeks, just couldn't seem to get out of my own way. Made some dumb mistakes. And I kind of knew coming here would be a good place, obviously, because I've always done really well on 1.5 miles. And we kind of got that momentum going last week at COTA. Really put a lot of effort into doing well there. And then to come here and do this tonight, it's always been one of my best tracks. It's my hometown track. I go here whenever I can. Tonight was just insane. The next gen era is it's so encapsulated in tonight because we were so close. Everybody was so pretty much the same speed. It was so hard to pass. You kind of had to get off kilter to make things happen and to just use a little bit of tire advantage or try to save just a little bit to make ends here. It just kind of worked out for me tonight. In Stage 1, I decided to go after the stage because I need points. I'm so far behind that I needed points. So, I took 2 tires to go after it. Stage 2, I knew that could be tough. And Stage 3, it just kind of fell my way. So, just a great run. Guys were good to me all night. I tried to take good care of everybody around me. It was just a good race.
Indeed it was, and I imagine that that Polish lap there, the Alan Kowicki lap or whatever, had to have been in honor of Chase Elliott, perhaps?
Well, actually, I told myself about 2 months ago, before the start of the year, that if I won at Kansas, I was going to do a Polish victory lap, because it's my hometown track. And obviously, Chase is my guy. I grew up a Jeff Gordon fan, and I've moved on to Chase now, and so, I'd say it's more of a coincidence, but yeah, absolutely for Chase, but then also more for myself and my family and everybody because I grew up here, and it just means, I think the Polish victory lap is one of the coolest things in sports, and it was just one of the things I decided to do.
Great to hear, man. Great to hear. And we got a couple questions, of course, here from Jordy, who says, congratulations on the win and obviously locking yourself back into the playoffs. He asks, both of your wins at Kansas have seen you come through the field after being toward the back at one point. Just what's it about Kansas Speedway that just allows for that kind of movement that you had throughout the field?
Well, I think, I don't know, I just feel like I've really mastered riding the wall. And so it just seems like when guys get to racing side by side, you can just take advantage of the guy on the inside because the guy on the outside has so much advantage. And I've always been good at saving tires, and Kansas is kind of a place you have to take care of the right front. So as the run goes on, just how I drive the track, I seem to take a little better care of that right front than most guys, while still being able to go, moderately pretty quick. And then as the run goes, it just keeps falling in my hand. And when you get these runs off of 2 and 4, you can almost get the guy before you get to the next turn. You don't really even have to dive bomb. You can just get it done by the time you're halfway through the corner. And it works well for me. So of all the tracks, this one just fits my eye of driving style, where you got to take care of the right front a little bit. And then I just ride the wall, and it just tends to work out as long as I don't hit the wall.
Indeed, man. Now, considering this is the first time we're talking to you here this season, it's been a while since we've talked, of course. It may very well be the first of many times we'll be talking to you as the season goes on. Just kind of give us your overall thoughts on how the season's gone for you so far? What do you think of the roster that we have here for the NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue for Season 5 and the second season here on the iRacing platform? Just talk about the parity throughout the field, the schedule having, of course, the addition of more short tracks and road courses on it, and just how you feel especially after tonight, how you feel moving forward as the schedule goes on, especially too, as this month ends. Got 2 short tracks coming up, Dover, North Wilkesboro. Also got Sonoma, and then you got the kind of the half Coke 600 at Charlotte to begin the month of May. So just talk about season overall, what you think of this season's field, and just the schedule moving forward. How you feel about it all?
I like the dynamic of the schedule. Having a lot of different slices of pie is something I really like. And so to be able to go to a mile and a half and run, and then go to a short track, go to a road course, go to Talladega coming up later. I mean, I think the parity is definitely there. I won the race, but I could have run 8th tonight. There's just guys that are that good. I missed a couple of the guys from last year. They were really good as well. They added a lot of good depth, but I mean, right now we got a lot of good guys too. And so going forward, the rest of the year, I mean, it's going to be a dogfight every week. Sometimes you need these things to kind of fall to you. And looking ahead at the schedule, I mean, I got a couple tracks that are going to fit my eye pretty well. But more, I would probably say not everything fits my eye going forward. I haven't really figured out this car on the short track yet. Road courses, I'm okay. But we'll see where it goes. But the parity, man, I mean, I think 6, 7 guys could have won the race tonight. And that's a good thing to have as we move forward, because not every week we need to have where there's just one guy. Where if we can go out and have 6, 7, 8 guys, that's pretty important as we move forward.
Absolutely, man. And considering you are the winner tonight, take the time to thank those that help support you and help you to come out every single Tuesday night. Get the job done here within the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Who would you like to thank, Jared?
I know she's listening upstairs, and I've got to thank my wife, because she takes over the kid at 6:30 every night so I can practice the race, and on Monday nights so I can practice, so she's my rock. I got a whole lot of family that they support me just because they know I love racing. It's a passion. And so all my family, mom, stepdad, dad, all of them, but definitely my wife. She's my rock. She's the one. She was watching tonight. I told her I needed a good luck charm, so she had the race on upstairs, and look how it went for me. So I thank all those people, man. They're so important in our life and how we move forward.
For sure, man, for sure. So that is the post-race winner interview here with the number 13 of Jared Ireland, the hometown hero, getting the job done here tonight at Kansas Speedway. His first win of the season, 3rd career win, 2nd at Kansas Speedway. He is the 4th driver to make it into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. Jared, once again, congratulations on the win tonight. Go celebrate with your family and friends. Going, I guess, Joseph Newgarden style maybe with the Kansas crowd. We'll see you next week for Dover. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you, Regan. You know me. We got that whiskey flowing. Have a good night.
Great to hear, man. Cheers. And so that was the number 13 of Jared Ireland. Jordy, you can get back right in here now. Just as you see it right there on the screen, Kansas Speedway. The tales and the stories that came out of tonight's GSGSG Kansas 200. Holy moly, what a show that was.
So Kansas has always been pretty entertaining, whether it's been on the Heat console series or in iRacing. That one takes the cake so far. No question about it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's been, a staple on the calendar since day one. And I mean, you see the reason why. It's just exciting, entertaining racing throughout the field, start to finish. And ultimately, again, you see Jared Ireland come through the field like I had you ask him about. And, he found a way to make it happen. We were talking about him wanting to build up momentum after Circuit of the Americas. I don't think there could have been much better of a follow-up than what he accomplished tonight.
Indeed so. And now as, again, we kind of take a look here at the schedule once more. Next week, on April 23rd, we head to our first... It depends on how you consider Phoenix, if you consider it a short track or not. But anyways, short track racing next week on April 23rd. It'll be the Fort River 200 at Dover International Speedway, which, again, we haven't been there in quite some time. There are races in, I think, as you said earlier, 2020 and 2021, and then after that, it's been all absent. So we obviously have not seen what these drivers can do yet on the iRacing side of Dover International Speedway. We've seen plenty of console races, but none yet on iRacing. There's no doubt that for that kind of track, who the heck knows what it's going to produce? I can see by your reaction there. What are your takeaways as we approach the end of the month here with 2 short tracks to conclude it?
Well, I was laughing at your brother's observation that it's apparently named Dover Motor Speedway now.
Okay, so it's Dover Motor Speed. Okay.
Make sure we get that right. But yeah, if tonight wasn't chaotic enough, yeah, let's throw a couple of shorter distances in here. Like, North Wilkesboro maybe didn't produce the chaos that we expected last year, if I recall, but 3 years away from Dover on any form of racing for us, I think, that could yield some very interesting results. And then, throw North Wilkesboro back into things. And, what have we subjected these guys to for April?
Well, with how tonight went, with how last week went, there's no doubt that these drivers are going to be having plenty more handfuls as the 2024 NASCAR season goes on. Of course, I mean, again, you see pretty much every single month is just full of mysteries. Again, I mean, Dover, North Wilkesboro. In May, you got Sonoma, Charlotte, Iowa, you got Nashville Super Speedway. There's just a bunch of different, it's just a whole bunch of schedule parity. Thank goodness there are no super speedways until July. That's one thing to note.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting configuration, and I think it's done the right way, honestly. And yeah, I think just kind of embracing the chaos as we come towards what'll almost already be the halfway point of the regular season once we're through North Wilkesboro, which is absolutely nuts, in my opinion.
Yep, time has flown by here in the Canadian eMotorsports Network, of course. So, tonight, that was the GSGSG Kansas 200 at Kansas Speedway. The number 13 of Eudora, Kansas native, Jared Ireland. First win this season, his second all-time at Kansas Speedway. This man just loves to be the hometown hero here. He is the 4th driver to lock himself into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs, joining Corbin MacAulay, Ty Higginbotham, and Jordan Kalenian. Now, only 8 spots remain with 10 races left to decide who will be eligible to contend for the Earl Ross Cup between July and August. So with all that being said, we'd like to thank you all very much for tuning into tonight's live production of Canadian eMotorsports Network action of the 2024 NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. We will see you all next week on April 23rd at Dover Motor Speedway for the Forked River 200, round 6 of 22. With how tonight went and how the past few weeks have gone, you will not want to miss any of the actions. So that was me, Regan McCauley, on the play-by-play side from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. On the other side, he's been here since the very beginning, Jordy Caraher on the other side of the country in Alberta, Canada. Of course, a bit of a shout out to Jose Mercado for some of the cool in-race reporting right there. Chase Beatty, of course, welcome back to the NASCAR Series. Great to have you back, and to all the people that were in the chat, of course, Mike Nickens and a bunch of other people as well. Thank you very much for being here. We will see you all next Tuesday night for some good old short track racing at Dover Motor Speedway. Take care, everyone, and congratulations once again to Jared Ireland.